I have to give you guys a small couch update to start off with because so last night we were on FaceTime. We discovered the couch was broken, right? So we realized, or Alec called the people today. He had to fight with them. He said he had to get transferred like 5 different times. But finally, he got them to agree to bring us a new couch on Saturday. And it's unclear of whether they're going to be taking the broken couch with them or not. So
Extra couch.
we may end up with an extra broken couch. And Alex like, wow, that's going to be way too many couches in this house, but oh well. But the story I wanted to tell you the other day that I was saving for the podcast was the story about how we got our upstairs couches downstairs in our new house. So these couches are manual recliners. They are freaking heavy. Like, I could not lift one side. They were that heavy. And they're also pretty big. And so my dad and Alec's brother and Alec were all measuring, like trying to see, like, okay, like how can we get these things through the doors? We flipped them over to see if we could get the like tops of them to pop off. And my dad and all of these boys were looking inside and they're like, I don't see it. I think that they brought all the pieces into this house and manually put this couch together. I don't think there's a way to do it. So we came to the conclusion that the brown couches were just going to have to stay upstairs and that I was going to have to deal with it. I was so disappointed. I was like, it's fine. Like, I understand it's not possible. And Aaron was like, I'll come over someday in the near future and I'll figure out, some way to take them apart so we can get them downstairs. Like, everyone was trying to be nice because they saw kind of how bummed out I was about it. But then my mother-in-law stopped by and she was like, no, there's got to be a way. So she asked ChatGPT. She
took a picture?
She took a picture of the couches and she was like, ChatGPT, how do we take these couches apart? And she had to like put in a bunch of information like, oh, they're manual. Oh, there's this. Oh, there's that, whatever. And she's like, no. There's got to be a way. So I flipped the couches back over again. And also, mind you, there's like zippers everywhere on the back of this couch. So you have to open up like every single zipper. And they had like a dog and there's like dog hair everywhere. Excuse me. So yeah, it's kind of super chaotic, but finally we find the little lever, the little latch. And it takes like 3 people to get them to like push it up. Finally get it down. Bottom of the couch is still freaking heavy. The boys had to take it outside of the house and then around the back because they didn't want to have to go down the stairs. But it was like a 3-hour adventure. Just trying to move some couches. And my dad at the very end was like, oh, thank God. I knew you were so disappointed and I couldn't deal with it. He was like, I was going to find a way no matter what to get those couches downstairs. So that was about the worst thing that happened in moving. That was about
that's
it.
Good.
Yeah. That was about
Nothing too disastrous.
Nothing too disastrous. Still living in absolute chaos. Like, this spot where I'm in will not be the spot that I'm always going to podcast in. But I currently don't have a desk. So this is where I got to be.
It'll do for now.
It'll do, donkey. Okay, do we want to get into it?
Yep. Yeah.
We ready?
Yep.
Okay, well, we taken a little bit of a break off, but welcome to the Pocket Friends podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Miranda.
I'm Daniela. I'm Jillian.
And we took a break off last week because I moved and it was exhausting. And I said, please, can we postpone? Also, everything like exciting that we talk about was happening after we normally record. So like Bridgerton came out, Drive to Survive came out. This just dropped today, but Sarah J. Maas is going to be on Call Her Daddy tonight and announcing something in the book universe. So it was probably good to wait.
Yeah. So we'll get all the F1 and the Bridgerton content in this week.
Yeah. Yeah, we have lots to cover, especially with the new the races starting this weekend.
We're back.
I'm so excited. So looking forward to it.
I have told several people multiple times this week, I cannot wait for F1 to start this weekend.
Yes, me too. I'm so ready. Like media day starts tomorrow, and I'm like, yes, let's get the boys in front of the camera. Like, let's see what they got to say. So I'm really looking forward to the race this weekend. This will be my first full season.
True. Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. Also, it's been cracking me up so much to see new F1 people, like this is their first season and they're really just starting to get in the races, and the whole theory of like you don't choose your favorite driver chooses you.
Yeah.
Like very much the case with me and George.
George. Yeah. Well, that was like a very interesting race that you first watched. It was the one where George's car basically became a ghost. And I think you were just like so impressed. You're like, how is he not everyone's favorite?
I was very impressed. I was like, nothing works, and yet he placed second. Which now, like thinking back to that moment, I'm like, wow, that's honestly really impressive that he was like this ghost car and still placed second. Like knowing more now, I think it's even more impressive.
Yeah, it is. But I do think like the time that you start watching and like the first race you see, that really impacts who you end up liking.
Yeah. Did you guys have that with Charles?
So actually, yes, one of my first races. Well, Daniela started. Actually, Charles chose me through a podcast, and I was hooked. He was on a podcast. I can't remember exactly which one it was on, but like it was one that I've like watched here and there when like I'm looking for podcast episodes to watch, and I clicked on it and was watching it, and I like just got so intrigued by the F1 universe after that.
So he found you outside of a race.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
And then I don't know if it was the first race I watched. Daniela was like explaining F1 to me. And then she was like, please watch a race with me. And I don't know if it was either the first or the second race, but it was the Monaco 2024 race, which Charles won. And he was the first person from Monaco to ever win it.
Yeah.
And like I still have that whole monologue memorized of when they're like, this fabled race is won by one of their own, like that whole thing. I have that locked down. I don't. So, was he the first or just the first in a really long time? No, he was the first.
That makes sense that Charles would be your favorite if that was like one of the first races really imprinted in your brain. Well,
and like the beginning of that race was really chaotic. Like there was a bunch of accidents, and like they basically had to end up restarting. Like red flag had to restart, and then like there wasn't a lot of passing because it's Monaco.
Yeah,
but like Charles qualified first and like on pole, and then he just stayed on pole the whole time, and I was like, he's pretty good. Not understanding how Monaco works, but
yeah, but even now, that's really cool to witness someone win their home race. I always feel like it's a little more sweet when they win their home race.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna dive into Bridgerton today because we haven't quite all finished Drive to Survive. But before we do that, we want to make our predictions for this weekend's race. And speaking of home races, I have to justify this. But I really want Oscar to win his home race.
Really?
I know. We don't always like Oscar.
It's also Liam Lawson's home race.
Okay, yes. But I like Oscar more than I like Liam Lawson.
Interesting.
I feel like Oscar really tried, like, I don't know what happened at the end of, or like in the middle, like coming back from summer break last year. I don't know what happened to him, but I think he's coming back with a vengeance. And especially this being the first race and his home race, I just want him to have that sweetness before everyone else crushes him the rest of the season.
That's a little evil.
I mean, if he does well, I'll be happy. It'll be fine.
A little bit of happiness and then get destroyed.
More like I don't want to see sad Oscar either. And he will be very sad Oscar if he doesn't win.
Yeah. Can't say I feel the same way. So who are your
Do you have Liam Lawson up there?
You want him? No.
Okay. So I have
Oscar. V-Carb in the top 3.
I have Oscar, George, Max.
Okay. Max is in my top 3. I like probably second or third. I don't think I want him to win. I also I really don't have any stats to work off of as far as who's going to be the strongest driver or who has the best car. So these are just it's kind of just who you like at this point. But I think I would like Charles, Lando, Max in the top 3 in some configuration.
Okay.
I agree.
Daniela, do you agree?
And I'm not locking anything in until after testing. Practice. Yeah, sorry. I keep saying testing because that's what we just finished with. Testing's over.
Yeah.
We're done.
I'm not
locking anything in until practice. I'm not writing anything down until after practice. I'm pretty sure Aston Martin's not going to do well.
Yeah.
They'll probably be proud of themselves if they finish the race. And then I don't have high hopes for Williams right out of the gate.
Yeah.
So those are my predictions.
Yeah, interesting. I hope that we see the return of Lewis.
He's really getting excited.
Yeah.
On Instagram and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I want to believe you.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But I just wanted to put out kind of our predictions first before anything, so that we can kind of come back and say, okay, yes or no. Because we're going to record again Friday night, which is after 2 days of practice. So maybe we'll have some differing thoughts on Friday. But this is just blank slate, kind of our hopes and dreams.
Yeah. Do we think Charles' recent wedding will impact his mentality? Well, that's got to be an ego boost, right? Is he going to be fighting harder, or is he going to be daydreaming about his new wife?
I don't think it's going to have much of a impact on him on race day, at least. I think the media will be all over it, and he might get tired of the wedding questions by the end of the weekend.
Yeah. We haven't finished Drive to Survive, but Danielle and I were talking about that with Charles in media, and I'm like, his answers are very similar to Max, where he's kind of he can be over the questions in the media, but he's just a little bit more elegant and trained than Max, and Max is just very abrasive. It's I guess I'll wait for this when we're actually doing F1 talk.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Let's switch on, because we could talk about F1 the whole episode and then we'd never talk about Bridgerton. Okay, so we finished Bridgerton last week.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and give our updated rankings now that the season's over, and then we can dive into actual thoughts on the episode. So, Daniela, why don't you start off and give your updated rankings of the seasons?
This is my ranking based off of the 2 main couples of each season. Okay?
The 2 or just the main couple?
Just the main couple. The 2 people. Queen Charlotte, Daphne, Anthony, Colin, Benedict. The only switch I make, if we're just basing it off of this season as a whole, is I put Benedict above Colin. Just because there were so many side things happening that I loved, and I loved those side characters and their stories that are developing, but I didn't really love the main couple and everything that was happening there.
Okay. What about you, Jillian?
Similar boat. I would say Queen Charlotte first. Then I think I'd put season 2, Anthony and Kate. Then Daphne and Simon. 3 and 4 are kind of on par for me now. They're pretty similar.
Okay.
I liked all the other stuff outside of outside of Benedict's story in season 4 more than the other stuff that was happening in season 3. So maybe I put season 4 over season 3.
Okay.
But I did get a little tired of
Ben and Sophie. Yeah. I agree. It's hard for me to pull out just the 2 characters, the main story. So my ranking is solely based off of the entire season. And it goes Anthony, Anthony, Daphne, Queen Charlotte. No. Anthony, Daphne, Benedict, Queen Charlotte, Colin.
Really? Queen Charlotte that low?
It was good, but I don't know. I just love, it didn't have all the other little stories. It was just them.
Yeah, but they were so good. They didn't need anything else.
It was good. It still wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
But I know that's sacrilege to say because everyone loves Queen Charlotte and that's all they talk about. But we can agree to disagree. Okay, so let's actually get into what we watched. We kind of we've talked a little bit about Benedict and Sophie, so let's start there. That was my least favorite part of the season, actually, was their
honestly,
love
yeah.
story.
Same. Okay, Danielle and I were talking about this, that Benedict seemed out of character from how he did, was the other seasons.
Yes.
He wasn't a romantic. He, couldn't understand Sophie's feelings. He was like, what do you mean I offended her by telling her I wanted to keep her a secret? And, he kind of got back into character by the end, but it was just, frustrating that he was, bumbling around for so long.
Yes.
If we go back to Anthony's season, when Anthony is trying to woo Kate's sister, and he's trying to write a poem, and he can't do it, and he goes to his brother, and he delivers that wonderful little poem speech, and then fast forward to where we are now, those are 2 different people.
Yeah.
He is so emotionally intelligent in every other season, and then this season he's just that's out the window.
I also feel like he lost all personality for a while there.
Yeah, he wasn't doing his art. I mean, he was drawing her, but he wasn't doing art. He was trying to be Anthony.
And he was partying a ton.
Which
kind of fits the
Benedict he kind of was already like that, but he was kind of partying with a purpose. He wasn't just mindlessly partying. He was he literally just was in a drunken stupor.
Yeah, he was part of
he
art.
Didn't even know where he was at one point when they were out in the country.
Mhm.
Like, he didn't know how he got there. Where, like, previously he would go to parties to, like, meet people or, like, get inspiration or whatever the case was. Like, obviously, like, to have fun and whatever, but, like, not to the extent that he was this season.
Yeah. And like we can't forget how he started the season just being a rake and having like 3 women in his bedroom with him.
Yeah.
So
That's how they all start.
That's not entirely out of character for him, though, but...
No.
Yes.
But it's just he felt, instead of like the funny, older, emotionally intelligent, artistic brother, he just felt like kind of a slimy, like older man now preying on like young people.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. And poor Sophie, like he just completely, and I felt like now he doesn't quite understand class because he is so privileged. But I felt like he should have understood a little bit more after he had that whole relationship with Madame Delacroix.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
where, like, he knows about mistresses and why they have to be mistresses, but he's like, no.
Right, like, he's not uncultured.
Yeah.
But then, like...
But he was kind of being an idiot.
Yeah. And he wasn't even taking, I mean, he was only thinking with one thing, and that was not his head. And he forgot how that would affect the rest of his family, too. I feel like. Like, his sister.
I don't think, like, Anthony was even telling him, like, you're going to be completely cut off from our whole family because it'll ruin our sisters. And, like, Anthony told him that, and then it didn't really stick, I don't think, until Violet told him that. Yeah. So, like, he had to be told things multiple times.
But the difference is that Anthony was telling that to scare him from stop. Like, don't do this. Like, I'm commanding you basically not to do this. Versus his mom was like, I give you permission to do this, but just know this is what you're giving up. This is what you're sacrificing for love.
Yeah. But, like, even Sophie told him multiple times. She's like, we can't do this because I'll be a secret. It'll ruin your family. I can never actually be a part of your family. And then if we have kids, they can't be a part of society.
She's like, they'll be just like me, and I don't want that.
Yeah. And, you know, what if, he did end up finding someone to marry and love just as much or whatever, and then what would happen to them?
Something more easy and...
It's a scary possibility.
Accepted.
I also think it's funny how low we're ranking it now when we loved part 1. We were like, oh, they're really building everything up nicely. We didn't enjoy how it ended, but I think it's just funny that part 2 has really changed all of our opinions on the whole season. And I think it was because, like, we didn't even really get to them resolving anything until, like, the last part of the second to last episode.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the first episode of the second half was, I think it was called Yes or No, and it's still her deciding yes or no, do I want to be a mistress? And it ends with them sleeping together. No. Well, it ends with them sleeping together, and then Benedict automatically takes that as oh, yes, you want to be my mistress, only for her to be like, actually, I'm only going to do it if I got pregnant from this.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that Anthony's, like, deductive skills throughout the whole season of, like, even trying to find the lady in silver was so terrible. And I knew the necklace was going to play a part because, like, they talked about it too much for it not to be, like, important. Mm-hmm. But the fact that all he needed to see was the necklace, and then and I was like, oh, he's probably drawn it a bunch, so he's seen it. But then he's searching through all his pictures, and he only drew it once. And, like, that's what you can remember?
Yeah.
You were staring at all these girls' lips, and you couldn't tell that was her standing in front of you?
Yeah. It is quite ridiculous. I love the idea that someone said that Anthony took the Bridgerton boys' brain cell to India with him, and it only came back once he returned from India.
That's funny.
So that's why Benedict was a mess all season, is because he didn't have the Bridgerton brain cell. And then that was the one time that Benedict actually did something right this season was when he told Sophie to inquire about the will.
True.
I also didn't like how much Sophie was holding, like all the information she was withholding. I was
from the Bridgertons.
Yeah, well, and just like
she was asked several times if it was possible that she came from nobility or whatever. And even if her mom wasn't nobility, but if her dad did claim her somehow in the will, which he ended up doing with the dowry and stuff, like that still gives her something. Rather than the nothing she was presumed to be.
Yeah. And it taking Benedict telling her, like, you didn't read the will yourself, why would you trust this woman who clearly hates you?
Yeah, that was where I was like, Sophie, you are a very smart woman. How did you not figure that out?
I'm just like, nobody was using their brain this season, and it really bugged me.
No.
Well, especially when obviously instantly at that funeral scene, I was like, that there's something in the will that she's hiding. Mm-hmm. When she was telling Sophie that. And she was like so like aggressive and mean about it. And like the place she did it, like it was very like thought out and manipulative. Which I know like we're seeing things in like hindsight from like an outside perspective. But like if you're that person and this woman has hated you your whole life, you're just going to take her word on this?
Yeah, she had a lot of trust in what's her name?
Penwood.
Yeah.
Lady Dowager Penwood.
Yeah. The old Lady Penwood. It starts with an A and now I can't remember it.
Oh yeah,
it's like a funky, it's a different kind of name. So I can't remember her actual name. But yeah, I also was kind of surprised at Sophie for believing that.
Yeah.
But I was glad that we learned that she did have the glove this whole time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she left it behind at the Bridgerton house.
I told you that I think my headcanon was right, though, that her friend brought her stuff with her.
That seems to be, because she did end up with all her things.
Yeah. So, even though we didn't see it, that's what I'm going to believe. Okay. Did you guys like okay, so what about the whole Sophie gets arrested? What do you think of that?
It added some action to the story. Again, it's just like one of those like multiple miscommunications. I was mad at Sophie for in the jail. The jailer dude was like, if you call, he's like, I can call whoever you want, but if you call one of your servant friends, it will harm them because
they'll be associated with you.
Yes. And like they'll never work again, whatever. I was like, at that point, why aren't we calling Benedict? The dude who would literally do anything for you, and you know it.
I mean, I think a little bit she knew she was kind of guilty, not necessarily for stealing the clips, but she did have them and she did sell them. So I think she just didn't want to get Benedict tied up in her mess.
She needed some help at that point. Like, and he's like, I will call anyone you want. And Violet knew the truth of the situation. So it's like, why aren't we contacting anyone in Bridgerton House?
Yeah, she could have contacted Violet. I don't know.
Yeah, if no one else, like, she could have at least contacted Violet. Like, Violet has been nothing but gracious with her and, like, accepting and, like, cared about her.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why she didn't. That's not how it happened quite in the books. In the books, she was basically still in the jail cell, and no one ever asked her who she wanted to call. They just all showed up when they found out she was arrested.
I was like, she went to court very quickly. That was speedy trial at work.
I don't know how old-timey court worked back then, but that would not happen today.
So
first appearances, maybe,
yeah.
but not.
But also,
not
like, she's gonna get sentenced to life. Like, that was what she was facing. I'm like, why aren't we talking to somebody?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I did kind of miss this part in the book, which we did see kind of, I think, I'm trying to remember. But Posey kind of saves the day at the trial, or, you know, when they're down in the cells, because she admits, or she says, I'm the one who stole them or whatever. And like kind of takes the blame for Sophie.
I was
to get her out of that situation.
for that moment to happen, not necessarily like in the courthouse, but I was waiting for Posey to finally just snap and be like, it was me, like, shut up. And she did eventually, but like,
she did.
But it would have felt out of character for her not to do that, I think.
Yeah. I'm happy with Posey's happy ending because it was a little different in the book. She ended up becoming a ward of the Bridgertons at the end.
Interesting.
But I'm glad that Sophie found her happy ending with a husband and was the only Penwood sister to actually marry that season. So
I loved that she, like, for starters, proved her mother wrong with, like, who was going to get married that season. But also that her mom intentionally gave Rosamond a higher dowry because she thought thought highly enough of Posey to think that Posey could get a guy with less money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, like, slightly offensive that, like, you didn't think I was worth that much. Also, a compliment at the same time of you thought I could do it without the money. It's a little backhanded.
Yeah, I just don't. It's very backhanded. And the way that she used Posey's emotions when she was trying to find out information on Sophie, I was like, holy crap, manipulative as just all get out. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I felt so bad for Posey, but I was also, like, really proud of her, and she did a great job.
She turned out very well considering her sister and her mother.
Yes.
Okay. Who else do we want to talk about? I mean, are we happy with... Oh, go ahead.
So can we talk about how they eventually got to the point where Sophie and Benedict could be together because of this cousin thing?
Yes.
Like, Alice had kind of rigged the game so the queen would potentially allow them to get married with her as a maid.
Yes.
And then they decided to go with this cousin story. And I guess, like, everybody online is like, no, that was better because there's, like, no threat of them not being accepted in society. But I don't know, like,
it would have been one of those things where the show kind of is like trying to rewrite history and being like, we would have been better if things similar to this would have happened in real history. And something like that happening where someone of no class married someone of class and the queen approved of it would have been like a major stepping stone for so many people.
I think it just would have changed everything. It would have changed too much, I think, all at once.
It just still felt like a huge lie. Like,
yeah,
they hadn't really solved the problem because now it comes down to Lady Penwood keeping her word.
Well, once they're married, it doesn't really matter.
Like, you're saying they couldn't be ostracized if it came out that she was a maid? Because, like, everybody in town knew about her.
As Sophie Beck or whatever.
Yeah.
No one actually, the only people that actually knew about her maid status, like a lot of people knew her name, but they never knew her. So, yeah, her face. And so now she can just be, I mean, they could even make up like Sophia Penwood or whatever. What was it? Oh, it starts with a G.
Yeah.
Gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. People can be stupid though. Like they probably could have. They would have believed it.
I think I just would have liked it better if it went the other way, because also the whole time I was like, the queen is so adamant about like her bet, like we know she wants to win that bet, so she would literally like give her blessing to literally almost anything if Benedict was gonna marry.
Maybe. I don't know. I also think it's setting up for the next season with Mrs. Mondrick being, or whatever, Lady Mondrick being her lady in waiting and being the person she relies on.
I know, but the cousin story made Alice look bad.
Yes.
Because it looked like she lied to the queen, or like didn't have all her facts.
I think the queen knew, though.
Well, yes. I mean, like, we kind of got that at the end, but like, ugh. It was going to be so good. Like, Alice had a whole plan.
I know. Yeah, I don't really like that they included that, I guess. The whole storyline. Because in the book, she is then considered a, like, ward of the Penwoods, like a cousin or whatever. You know, how, like, Marina was considered with the Featheringtons. And that's how they're able to get around it. So it goes that way in the book. Nothing happens with the queen.
I don't know. I didn't love it.
And him proposing at the ball. Ugh.
Some people like that.
Gross. Did you like it?
I don't want to be proposed to in public.
It was a cool shot that where they like. It was a cool shot that where they like slowed down.
I do remember thinking that where like it was
the
like
spotlight on them.
It was a great embodiment of like, even when you're reading a book and they're like it felt like everyone disappeared around them. Like that's how like they describe the moment in like books, and like it was just so like cool.
Yeah.
How like everyone just like slowed down. Like you could tell they were still like moving like really slowly. But like it was just a really cool shot.
Yeah, shot itself cool. Actual proposing.
My other favorite shot of the season was Francesca and her husband in that like archway. It's just stunning.
Looking at the moon.
Their last time together. That was so sad.
Well, let's talk about that.
Did you guys see it coming?
Well, we knew he died. And he kept mentioning his headaches. And I asked Danielle, I was like, do we know how he dies? And then, like, he kept mentioning the headaches, and they kind of made a big deal about him going down to take a nap. And I was like,
Yeah. I knew from the moment that they stepped out, like they did that shot, and they were like looking out into the sky. And then like pretty soon after was the puzzle scene and whatever. I was like, oh, he's gonna be gone.
Yeah, I figured it was going to be like a brain thing. We weren't sure if it was going to be like a long disease that like took a while, or if it was going to be like an abrupt thing. But
yeah,
when we definitely knew when Francesca came into the room and she was talking to him and he wasn't responding, we were like, oh,
I didn't think it would be a drawn out thing. I figured it would be like fairly quick. My speculation was more like, what is it?
Yeah.
Like before it happened, and
I think it was like a brain aneurysm.
I was like, it's like a brain aneurysm or something. I was like, I guess it could have been cancer because like it kind of was happening for a while, and like he just like died from cancer because they didn't know what it was then.
Yeah.
And it like felt sudden, but like there were symptoms prior.
Yeah. Everyone online is cracking me up because they're like, "Oh, John, you would have loved the modern age and Tylenol." I'm like, you realize you didn't actually die of a headache, right?
Yeah, like that wouldn't have fixed it.
Yeah, like people still die of aneurysms.
Yeah, very much so. They're very scary, actually.
Yeah. But honestly, Francesca carried the second part of the season for me.
She did. She did. She gave me all the feels. I really didn't care about Ben and Sophie. I just wanted to watch Francesca.
I cried so much at like how she was trying to hold back at like the funeral and everything. And then when she broke down to Violet about you have 8 pieces of your husband, and I was like, oh.
Well, and I saw someone post about kind of their husband's reaction to this scene of like her finding out that she's not pregnant. He was like, "Oh, so she lied." And it's like, "No, it's actually worse. She was hopeful. Like she had hoped so hard that she was carrying a piece of John because she hadn't got her period."
When she said like I'm a few days late, I was like, "Oh, that's probably just the stress." I was like, don't get your hopes up.
I did kind of suspect her to be pregnant, though. I know she wasn't in the books, but because they changed Michael to Michaela, and like she gets pregnant later on in the books and like carries on the line, but she can't do that with Michaela.
Yeah, but in the books, I believe she had a few miscarriages too. So it wasn't just she couldn't get pregnant. It was she couldn't keep a pregnancy, I don't think. If I'm remembering correctly. I might be misremembering.
Which is worse.
Still though, you need a man for that.
Well, yes.
True. Good job,
True. Yeah. So yeah, I'm very interested. I saw a theory of how they're going to, I don't know, make it different. So apparently in Scotland at that time, a female could carry on the line. Like it could go to a female next. I haven't talked to you guys about this yet. So the reason Michaela
left... Does it have to be like that's the last female left?
I don't know. I don't know exactly what the rule is. But the theory online is that when Fran asked Michaela to stay until they found an heir, and Michaela left right away, was because she knew that she would be the heir.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because it does raise an issue of whoever takes over. Like, that's who Francesca would be dependent on unless she remarried.
Yeah. Which she is very young.
See, how it was playing out in my mind, since they were going the girl on girl route, was that he would die, but she would be pregnant like right when he died. And then she would end up having the kid, and she wouldn't remarry and would like raise the baby under the guise of like, this was my husband's like best friend, his cousin, his family. I'm too like devastated. He was the love of my life. I'm never gonna move on, but I need help raising my kid. So like raising the kid like under the guise of that, and like they would have like their little secret relationship. That's clearly not happening, but that's what I envisioned.
That would have been yeah, I was gonna say that would have been interesting for sure. That's definitely not the direction they're going in. I'm still so curious of how they're going to put them together.
I felt like the baby also kind of helped like give them a bit of cover with the fact that they could be like, she could be like, I need help. Like, I don't want to raise the baby by myself and stuff like that.
Though, if Michaela is the heir, she could be a spinster for life, and Fran, now as a widow, wouldn't necessarily be pressured into getting married again. Like, she could be, for sure, because she's young. But she could live
wouldn't
her life
Michaela
out.
be pressured into getting married and
Yeah,
having
that's the thing.
heirs?
It was all about heirs back then. So somebody has to have an heir.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they have more.
Somebody's got to have an heir. It's the rules.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still curious of how that's going to play out and who's going to be next.
I feel like we kind of were teed up for Eloise. I think also Francesca, but I feel like we were pretty teed up for Eloise and like her whole like change of heart throughout the season.
I think we're gonna. They really like to dive into Francesca in other people's seasons, so I think we're gonna get Eloise with a lot of Francesca.
Honestly, I love it. I told you guys that Fran is my favorite character, and it has proven true this season. And I'm excited to see more of her next season, hopefully with Eloise being the main character, and then get a full Fran season.
I did love Eloise and Francesca, like Eloise supporting Francesca.
Yeah.
Especially during the medical exam scene.
That was heartbreaking.
Like, for starters, I was like, what are they looking? How are they checking? What are they checking?
Well, you can see stuff.
You wouldn't be able to see anything that early on, no matter what, if you're looking inside.
You can't, like, touch the fetus.
It'd be like a pea at that point.
This guy's sticking his hand up there, and I was like, I don't know, what are you doing?
It'd be like the size of a pea at that point. It wouldn't be big enough to see anything.
I'm not saying they could see the baby, but they might be able to see, like, the sac forming. They might be able to see something to show that there's a baby.
I'm not buying it.
I just don't think they had the science back then. I just don't think they had the science back then to be putting her through that, and then B, to
especially
be sure about
state
anything.
Of, like, grief.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awful.
I'm mad Benedict didn't get fight harder for her not to have the examination.
I don't know. He fought kind of hard.
Anthony would have beat them.
He would have challenged them to a duel.
Yeah, he would have.
Okay, then can we talk about Anthony just not being there? Because that made me mad.
I'm kind of not surprised. But I'm disappointed.
I'm just mad that they had him show up for Benedict to scold him, and then leave, and then come back later to be there for Benedict, but not be there for the sudden death of his sister's husband.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned it. We talked about this yesterday, but it really shows when siblings are missing from the big life events, like weddings and funerals. Like, they've got to figure it out next season. Have stand-ins. Have, like, random people pretend to be the Duke and Duchess and Anthony and
have
Kate.
Like red hair in the corner, and we're like, Daphne's here.
Yeah.
Red hair. She's blonde.
She's more blonde than strawberry.
Like, it's not red like Penelope, but...
No, but I see red hair, and I'm gonna think Penelope. She's blonde.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Have someone that resembles Daphne.
Let's be honest, she would...
in the corner.
Yeah. She would come
back.
She stopped coming back because it didn't make sense that she was there without the Duke so often. So if they just recast him, that would solve all of our problems.
What they should do?
And all of us would turn a blind eye because all of us wanted to do that.
They don't even need to recast. All they need to do is shoot her on a side and have a tall black man standing next to her.
Just
show
right.
his like shoulder and his chin. all you need to do is show that, and we can pretend that is
I
the
will
Duke.
literally take anything.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And people, maybe Bridgerton writers, if you ever watch this, which I doubt you will, but can you please plan around Jonathan Bailey a little bit better? Have him, instead of have him show up for freaking Benedict and his stupid mistress stuff, have him show up to his sister's husband's funeral, please.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
Ridiculous.
But, like, that happened not that long after. Like, did he leave that fast? They were there for a very short amount of time.
It seemed short. Yeah.
It felt like they just came for the cameo. Like, it didn't feel like they were there for a reason. And, like, Anthony said, like, it was time for him to be back and take care of the estate, because Benedict had been doing it for so long, and it's not actually his job, and, like, he needed to, like, do his work. And then he's gone again.
And I literally would not have minded if Kate wasn't even there at the funeral, because, you know, she just had a baby. They just got back from India. Like, you know, excuse for her not being there. Anthony would have been there.
No excuse.
No excuses.
Well, I also feel like just from his character, that is something he would have wanted to take care of. Like, he would have wanted there to be there to help out.
Yeah.
With the estate and all that stuff. Especially with, like, his trauma from his dad.
Yeah. Actually, I just thought of a good, if they had said, like, Daphne just gave birth to her next child or whatever, that would have been a better excuse for why she wasn't there. Because she couldn't travel.
True.
Anything could have been a better excuse than her just being not there.
Then them just, like, putting in a comment about, like, oh, some of John's family couldn't make it from Scotland either, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, here are these flowers that your brother sent you.
Scotland is different than, like, Daphne, who was, like, a 2 days ride away.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure the funeral happened, like,
Scotland
quick,
was pretty far.
but even if she wasn't there for the funeral and she was there for, like, the little party that they had, like, she was there for some part of the grieving process. Like, she got there as soon as she could type of situation.
Yes.
And even that, the Duke wouldn't need to be there because it was a sudden thing, and he has business.
Sudden.
As a woman,
there's so many options.
When something happens with your family, you can just skedaddle on over. Your husband doesn't need to follow.
Daphne has done that.
Yeah.
Which Daphne has done in the past.
Yeah. When she came back to Collins debacle with Marina. Yeah. Her and Anthony not being there was slightly unforgivable.
And I don't blame the actors at all.
No, it's the writers and...
I don't blame Daphne and Anthony.
No. Yes.
That's not their real names. Jonathan Bailey, and I don't know her name. Phoebe, yes.
Phoebe. No. They're off. I mean, they're doing amazing things too, so I'm happy for them, but also please come back to our favorite TV show and the favorite Bridgerton siblings,
like,
please.
You sign on for something like that, like, you should expect to, like, stick it through. Like, even if it's not, like, your most favorite thing in the world. Like, for the fans who have loved your season and all the other seasons, people who are a fan of the books, like, when you sign on for a project like that, I feel like you should expect to be there every season for something. If not, like, like, they don't need to be there for the whole season, but for, like, a couple major events. You know?
Yeah. And plan it out far enough in advance of being like, get everyone's schedules, find the one day that everyone's available, and shoot the scenes that you need to absolutely shoot.
Yeah.
When everyone's available. Plan accordingly.
Yeah. And you could have spliced stuff together. Like we were saying this last night. Anthony still could have given the speech at the funeral. It could have just been like he filmed that completely separately by himself.
Yeah.
Like whenever he had time.
And then have a body double stand in for the actual, like, at the house scene. Like, have his back turned, like he's mingling with people.
Yeah.
Or, like, he had to get back to Kate and the baby.
True.
So, yeah, I agree. That was annoying. Didn't love. But Fran, excellent job this season. Outstanding. Honestly, she should win awards for her acting. She did a fantastic job. I felt everything. And like we can now like transitioning to kind of talking about Eloise. I mean, it was so cool to kind of see her transform her thought even in a season. Like she went from I'm a spinster to hating being in Hyacinth's lessons with her, hating Hyacinth's joy about entering the marriage mart, to then seeing Fran just get absolutely devastated by the loss of her husband and being like, oh wait, having a husband may not be the worst thing in the world. He's a companion. It's not just, a man who has more rights than
control
a female
over
and
life.
control and and it's not all about like a baby making factory and all that stuff. It's about a companion, of someone to live your life with. And I think she's realizing that all of her friends are married now, and so she doesn't have the female friendship that she had when she was younger to do that.
Yeah.
Like, her mom was never a bad example of that. I think that this is just things she's heard and stuff, being so young when her dad died. But, like, if you do marry a love match like her mom wants all of her kids to do, you won't end up with someone who is going to try and impress you. And I don't think she ever, like, really put that together until now. It was also interesting seeing Hyacinth kind of switch up.
Yes, absolutely. The two things of the season really were, she was excited. She had her little taste of the ball. Was disappointed by men. Shocker. And
that
then
was so funny.
It was so funny to see her kind of just come down and be like, oh, while this is still exciting and fun, it is not the best. It's like it's a challenge still.
Yeah. You still have to do some, like, it doesn't just happen. You have to put work into it.
Yeah.
But then, like, Gregory's running off. He's already in love with a girl who said nothing to him.
I love that. That's cute. And I kind of hope his crush
ran away from him, and he's like head over heels.
He's like, I'm in love. Let's get married.
Yeah. But I did like that the Hyacinth storyline at the end made Eloise kind of have to play devil's advocate. And she was like, wait, there's some benefits here.
Yeah. Oh, that scene was so heartbreaking to me. Especially at the funeral when she was like, what was Dad's funeral like? Because I wasn't there. I wasn't born. Yeah, and just her being like, why would I ever want a husband if he's just going to die and leave me hopeless?
Which was pretty similar to Anthony's story. He was like, I don't want to fall in love with anyone because I don't want to be hurt that much or to hurt them that much when one of us dies.
He didn't want to have that much power over someone or someone have that much power over him.
No. Oh, and we talked about this before the even season started, but Violet did an amazing job, or Ruth, of portraying Violet's grief in that time, just like Francesca did now. God, that hurt. And especially like she's looking up to her older sisters, Hyacinth is, and seeing all this love that they have for each other, and just for it to be taken away.
Yeah.
So I'm excited though that she's not going to debut next season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm glad they're like kind of giving her character more of an arc, like to play with. That it's just not that she's just the one Bridgerton who really loves all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. The actors themselves, Claudia Jesse, who plays Eloise, talked about on a podcast or during, it probably wasn't a podcast. It was probably just a media thing. An interview that one of her favorite things of the season was getting to see the actors who play Hyacinth and Gregory really blossom because they're 18 or 19 now, like they're little young adults, and they didn't have to have their chaperones with them in the green room anymore, and so just funny things like that. She said that it was really fun to see them around a lot more this season than they had in the past.
Yeah, well, because they also wouldn't have like as restrictive hours. They probably still have school.
Yeah.
They're high school age.
Not if they're 19.
Well, they were filming before then.
No. Yeah, they might have finished up at that point. But what was I going to say? I think it'll be cool. I wonder if Gregory will start being part of the ton in the Marriage Mart next season. He won't get married, obviously, but he might be of age to actually start attending balls and like going to events.
He has to come of age before Hyacinth does, so it makes sense for him to be next.
Yeah, so I would assume that maybe we'll see him more next season, attending balls, getting to know what he's looking for in a wife, maybe. I'm kind of curious if they'll also do kind of a rakish storyline with Gregory, if he'll do his phase. He seems
he's already like falling in love, and he seems like Colin, where like he will fall in love easily, and that's not necessarily the best, but it will probably keep him from being more of a rake. It would be really weird to see him be a rake, having seen him as a child
either
actor.
way with that falling in love quick, and that could either make him a major rake, or not.
Or maybe he'll have his heart broken by somebody, and then he'll go through maybe a little, manho season of life.
I feel like it's kind of like
only to find his love.
Something men had to do then. Not necessarily like had to do, but like it was just something that ended up happening for most of them.
Yeah. I feel like it was very it's like part of the culture of men.
The women had to be perfect, but
I don't know.
It's so crazy.
We'll have to see how they play it out with them.
Yeah.
But between Francesca and Eloise next season, there's a lot of storytelling happening already.
Yeah. The one thing I found interesting though about Eloise was this is her like third year technically out in society.
Yeah.
She came out in season 2. And she like men are still like pouncing on her the second she walks in a ballroom. And I like thought like the whole fear was like if you don't get married in your first or second year, you're basically
I think it's different for her because of her name. I think for most people it is like that.
I think
that she has a name and a reputation and a family backing her. That she that just helps her.
And maybe and maybe things have changed since, because I was just thinking about Daphne's season. Like that was a huge part of her storyline, where she was like, I have to do good and marry someone well this year, because like the queen had shown favor to her and she was the first of the Bridgerton daughters. But then I guess because she married so well.
Well, also part of her pressures were that
I think that helped,
the queen had chosen her, and that she was the first female Bridgerton out. It wasn't necessarily that she would be less of a hot commodity if she didn't marry that year, I don't think. I think it was more like self pressures that she was putting on herself, that she felt like she had to marry her first season out or it would ruin things for her sisters.
Yes. And I do think that her marrying so well has increased her sister's value for sure. That's why, because we did see with Penelope and Cressida, both of them were in their third seasons last season, and they were basically ignored a lot of the time at balls unless they pursued options. So I think it is generally true that by the third season, you're kind of looked at as like, oh, why didn't anyone want you?
Well, yeah, that's why Cressida had an arranged marriage, basically.
But Eloise also, I feel like, is very elusive, and people don't really get to know her because she doesn't show up to a lot of balls. She avoids it anytime she can. And with her name and her status and her family status, people are probably still interested in her. Well, and also, like you said, Daphne
did marry a duke, so getting into that family gets you in with a duke if you ever need something.
Yeah.
It's all about power.
Like to drop their name.
He would show up,
but like...
No, but that was so funny when they dropped his name in front of Sophie's, the judge.
And... Yeah, that was good.
Sorry,
I loved Violet at the end.
I don't remember.
Daniela, what were you saying?
That's good.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I also love Violet at the end.
I was like, somebody's got to step up and take care of this, and it is going to be Violet.
I also love how she kind of a lot of people outrank her, but because of how well liked Violet is, she's got the ton in her hand. She's like, I could ruin you.
She also knows how to play the game. Like, when she was talking to the judge, and she was like, can you please release her into our custody? She's my daughter's lady's maid, and we have to get ready for the ball, and...
Like, she was playing, like, the helpless woman.
Yeah, like, kind of playing into the ditzy thing. Yeah.
I mean, it reminds me even back to season 1 when they were trying to get Lord Pembroke to go away, and they're like, what do we do? We're ladies. Yeah. We talk. We gossip.
I love her
so much.
She's really the best mom. Okay, speaking of Violet, what did you think about her and Lord Anderson's breakup?
I was a little sad.
I feel like it was kind of brushed under the rug kind of quick. Like, I know it's like a breakup, but like...
Yeah.
Nobody else really knew about it, but I feel like it was kind of
but
just
nobody else knew about it.
But like even like Benedict knew about it, and he like never brought it up again.
I mean, he knew they were.
He was pretty mean.
He knew they were sleeping together, but he didn't know that they were engaged.
But like even that, like I feel like if I knew my mother, who like the love of her life was dead, and she was sleeping with someone, like that's got to be like someone. Like Violet's not just sleeping with anyone.
Maybe.
True.
But I did like when Benedict kind of had his breakdown in front of Violet, and he was like, you wanted us to find love, and I found love, and now you're telling me I can't be with her. And Violet was like, oh, I didn't know you loved her. I thought you were just sleeping with her.
She is funny like that.
Yeah. We also had the cute moment where Violet and Benedict kind of bonded, and she was like, I was like you once. And that conversation triggered her to be like, no, I want to be independent and find myself and not be married again. It also would have been weird because her last name would have changed. She wouldn't be a Bridgerton anymore.
No, and I kind of hope she still finds someone to spend out the rest of her days when maybe she's done, like all of her children are happily married off. Yeah, but I'm ready for the next phase of Violet, especially I wonder if Lady Danbury is ever going to come back. Or if she's done.
We also have like the queen is supposed to die soon.
Yeah.
Like historically, she died like in the year they're currently in. So like either she dies next season
I hope she
or
didn't die off screen. That would be terrible if they did that. It feels too monumental to.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like that. Some people are also theorizing that Lady Danbury is going to come back with a man.
She does not seem like someone who's gonna find a man.
I don't think she wants
agree.
that.
I don't think that's gonna happen either. But I'm wondering if this is like the queen dying and Lady Danbury like leaving is all going to like have them exit the show.
I'm not really seeing Lady Danbury coming back. I hate to say it because I love her, but I'm not seeing her coming back.
Well, she kept saying that she's not leaving forever.
We also thought Cressida was gone forever.
I wasn't upset about that. I'm glad she came back. I miss Cressida. I was kind of hoping she would make a reappearance. I wasn't sure how she was going to pull it off, but
I was glad that she got
had a happy ending.
Yes. Me too. But like I said, we thought Cressida might be gone, so I don't know. I could see her coming back, but not necessarily being the same role that she was.
Like that's not like her.
I think Alice is stepping in.
I'd rather have that
to Lady Danbury's role.
I don't really want Lady Danbury if she's not going to be Lady Danbury.
True, but if the queen dies, I will be mad if Lady Danbury does not show up.
But like just like having her around.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. Like if she shows up again, it'll be in some, not in the same capacity. It'll be to fill some specific.
If she's coming back for a reason and for that reason and then leaving after that, that's preferable. But I don't really want her to come back and just be hanging out and not pulling her strings.
I don't think
That's what I'm saying. So it wouldn't feel right if she was just there to be there because the writers know that people like her. People like her because she pulls strings.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Violet could still.
I'm saying if she's not doing that, I don't want her there. If she's just sitting, relaxing, she doesn't need to be there. That's not her.
I'm just saying I think there's room for Alice. I'm just saying I think there's room for Alice to kind of be the one that's
pulling strings,
doing more of it, and it's just like Violet and Lady Danbury are like overseers, and they're still having their hands in there and doing stuff, but it's like Alice gets a bigger role.
I don't think Lady Danbury, I think, will come back for the Queen's funeral if they have it, if they defy history, whatever. And then leave. And then I'm wondering though if then Alice, because then Alice would lose her spot, right, as a lady in waiting. Mm-hmm. If she would come in then and be close with Violet. Because I feel like there's got to be some like mom level adults friendship that carry us on in the season. Like that's usually a storyline, is something going on with the adults. So if we're losing all these characters, then we got to bring in more storylines.
Well, and Alice's son is like close-ish in age to Gregory and Hyacinth.
Yes.
So it could be like her son is entering.
Yeah.
Along she's getting the same time as Gregory and Hyacinth. Yeah.
That would be kind of fun. Okay. Let's start maybe wrapping up our Bridgerton talk. But we have to talk about who we think the new Lady Whistledown is.
Yeah. Okay, did you think that the voice changed at the end?
I didn't really notice it, but a lot of people online have pointed it out.
I thought it sounded similar to Lady Danbury. Speaking of Lady Danbury.
It didn't sound like the normal Julie Andrews voice. Like, I didn't know if it was still Julie Andrews using a different voice or if it was a completely different person.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to go back and rewatch it, that part, because I didn't really notice. To be fair, I was also like packing, so I wasn't paying as much attention maybe as I should have, but a lot of people have pointed it out online.
So I've heard it could be Lady Danbury, it could be Hyacinth, could be Eloise, could be Alice, or it could be Violet. So I've heard like those 5.
I also heard Varley.
That'd be funny, except I don't think Varley writes.
She literally wrote all that stuff for Penelope's mom.
No, but like Portia made the joke that Varley doesn't read and doesn't care about literature and all that stuff.
But she might, and Portia just doesn't know about it because Portia doesn't care about anyone but herself. Varley could be reading in her room before she goes to sleep, and Portia would have no clue.
Someone just pointed out Varley because I guess the whole season they kind of talked about how Varley had all the good gossip.
That's true. I didn't think about Varley. I don't think it's Alice. I think Alice would be giving all her good gossip directly to the queen.
Yes.
I don't think it's Lady Danbury because she's not there to know what's going on.
I don't think so either. I don't think it's Violet or Eloise either.
I kind of liked the Violet one that she's like kind of trying to find.
I don't think Violet would
her independent
ruin people though.
Yeah.
Like Lady Whistledown does. And being anonymous again, that's what people are going to be like looking for. Like people this whole season people wanted names.
But it was pointed out that it's a different Whistledown.
But people wanted names this season. That was the point of Penelope like laying her to rest, was because they knew who she was, and she felt too guilty outing people and ruining their lives because they knew who she was, and they would come directly to her and be like, look what you've done to me. But people in society wanted that. People were looking for the names. People were mad that she didn't name the couple who was having the mistress.
The affair. Or yeah.
I think I can see the Hyacinth storyline because she's talking about how she needs to discover who she is before.
I can see it, but I don't know how she would know everything because she's not in the marriage mart, so she wouldn't be in the balls like Penelope was.
But now she knows how to sneak into balls. She like figured out that if I dress as a lady's maid, nobody's gonna know who I am. I can sneak all over the place. That would kind of be a fun thing. Like you just see like Hyacinth pop up in like a maid's outfit.
That would be kind of funny.
And then like she's getting stories from both sides of the world.
And I do think that she probably had kind of the more insider knowledge of Penelope's trade because she was part of the family. And so she probably kind of heard Penelope's reasons for wanting to quit Lady Whistledown and kind of all the attention. But, you know, like you said, like people wanted names. People still wanted the gossip. Penelope just didn't want to be the face of it.
Yeah, and I do think it has to be someone who knows Penelope in more than like knows her name, like actually knows her, because they did make a point of saying they are not Penelope.
Yeah.
I think as far as like that goes, Eloise is the best option, but I don't think
I don't think she would
That's
do
what
it.
Eloise's character would be doing right now.
I agree. I just don't, especially with how much crap she gave Penelope for doing it. I don't see her doing that.
I also think Hyacinth is, like you said, not coming out yet. So she has a few years to, like, be on the wall. And she knows that's how Penelope got the best information. Was from being on the wall. Not necessarily being part of it, but from being on the wall and observing and listening to other people. And, like, Eloise, who is going to be having her story soon, is not going to be on the wall. She's going to have her own things to be thinking about.
She also doesn't go.
Indeed.
Yeah, she also doesn't go unnoticed at a ball. Like, we were talking about, she's constantly being approached, and
she also doesn't care as much about some of the gossip. Like, she hears things and knows things, but, like, she wasn't like Penelope was and, like, cared about all these little people and their small problems.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how she figured out it was Penelope, because Penelope was, like, talking about this tiny little piece of gossip that she heard about somebody who, like, Eloise could care less about.
Do we think there's any way?
Yeah.
Do we think there's any way it's a man?
No.
I was thinking that.
What if it's Colin?
I was thinking that. I was like, what if Colin is like, she loves it, but she can't have it anymore?
That would be funny. That would be
He's like, honey,
so
I got
funny.
you a present.
He's like, I got you your name back.
Yeah.
That would be so funny. If Colin could write, like, I mean, he knows her and knows her style and knows, like,
and he's a good writer, according to Penelope.
Well, according to Penelope was in love with him when she was saying how good of a writer he is. Yeah, I guess
he got
he
his
did.
stuff published, didn't he?
Yeah, he got his stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was at the end of their season.
I guess it could be Colin.
I think that would be really
funny. So, like,
funny.
what you're proposing is that it's Colin.
That would be really funny.
And he's writing right now saying, like, he's someone new, but he's gonna, like, give it back to Penelope. And she's gonna be able to do it anonymously again.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it'll still end up being Penelope.
I feel like... yeah, I think...
It would keep them around. Because I was kind of worried when she gave up, when she was like, I'm giving up Lady Whistledown, that was going to be their, like, exit from the show.
Yeah, because aside from, like, the funeral and a couple conversations with Francesca, she wouldn't have had a reason to really be in the season.
Yeah, so that would definitely keep things, this whole new Whistledown thing definitely keeps things interesting.
I was kind of wondering where we were going to go with Whistledown, because it felt kind of crazy to me that they revealed her so early. To even us, as, like, the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first season.
Yeah.
I told you guys about what happened in the book, right?
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how, well,
it's like years.
It comes out. Well, it comes out in Colin's book, which takes place after Benedict's book and Anthony's book. So, and Daphne, it went Daphne, Anthony, Benedict, and then Colin. So it came out during their book, their story. But then every book after seemed to ignore the fact that she had been revealed as Lady Whistledown. And, like, still talked about Lady Whistledown like she was this anonymous person. So it never really explained it. So I've been kind of curious of how the showrunners were going to go with that.
I'm very curious about that. I'm looking forward to whatever.
Yeah, those are my two favorite.
Yeah.
I don't really think I could be disappointed
I could be disappointed. I think those are my two favorite things, Hyacinth and Colin.
Yeah, I think I could be.
Back to Penelope. Those are my... That's what I would...
Watch it be Kate.
She did pop into my head when we were talking, but like
this
she's
whole
in
like
India.
Varley thing. But like she wants to be at Abney Hall. Like,
yeah.
She doesn't want to be in the town. The Varley thing though is making me think like maybe Portia and Varley are working together.
I
Like, this is
actually
their
could
fun
see
hobby
that.
now that they're back.
Yeah, because Portia is just hungry for gossip,
Yeah.
and Barley's happy to give it to her.
Could be.
And she was sad,
And
I
they're
think.
like, this is how we can make money.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
you know, Portia loves that.
Because Portia's
That
always
could
hungry
be.
for money.
I do kind of like the idea of it being like a duo
would
also
situation,
amuse
like
me
Colin
if
and
that
Penelope,
was-
or Portia and Barley, and then obviously Hyacinth. But like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I
I
think
think
those
it would
are
also-
the best contenders, for sure.
Watch it
We have
be none
3
of them.
options.
Of the people we know, yeah. I don't know who
Yeah,
else
watch be
it could
somebody
be.
new.
Watch it be Footman John.
Or it's like Cressida or something.
I do feel
Oh,
like
God,
they
I
kind
hope
of
it's
like
not Cressida.
burned the bridge of it being someone too low. Like someone like Varley, where she is mostly just working for Portia at this point, is possible. But like they even touched on that when Eloise was like looking for who it was, where they're like a working woman, like we're too busy. You know? So I feel like they slightly burned that bridge.
Yeah.
Like they'd have to be careful if they went with like a working class person.
Unless they kept
That's what I'm
Ray
saying. Someone
and
where it's
Varley.
like Varley, where it's just
Well,
Varley
and
is
they
just
did.
doing stuff with
Portia
Portia.
did.
Yeah.
I think they kept Ray because Varley said you already have
Yeah.
a housekeeper.
I'm
and
pretty
Portia
sure they
said,
kept
"It's a
Ray.
big
That's why I'm
house."
saying like it could be someone like Varley who isn't doing a whole lot else. But like you'd have to be careful who you picked. Like it would have to be someone like Varley who isn't keeping the house and doing other things. And like trying to go to the market and write this column and all that.
Couldn't be, oh God, what's her name? Like Mrs. Smith?
Wilson.
Wilson. That's what it was. Miss Wilson.
No.
She's too busy.
She's got that house under control.
Or it couldn't be like Hazel or anyone like that.
I love her so much.
Where they're like working.
No.
Yeah.
Although, never mind. That was mean.
Okay. You can still write.
That's true. I think at that time period, it would have been harder for her to learn how to write.
Anything else to say?
Honestly, I'm glad
Mm-hmm.
that the Bridgertons brought her on, and that they showed somebody with a physical disability in the show.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was cool to see.
Yeah. Just real quick, another thing that also annoyed me about the Benedict Sophie love story was after Violet works her butt off to get her out of jail, and she's like, you guys stay on separate bedrooms, don't cross the hall. She puts John there to be like, keep an eye on everybody. Then we bring in Hazel to be the distraction. And I was like, great, Sophie and Benedict can have like a quick conversation, and then she can get back across the hall. No one's the wiser, it's all fine. Instead they have like sex in the bathtub and they're splashing water everywhere. And it's like we're not even trying to be stealthy.
I heard someone say that Footman John must have been like, wow, he's making a real splash there.
And then I'm like, how are you gonna get back across the hall? Because Hazel's not keeping him that busy.
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
I was just like, no.
Also, why didn't she just send Benedict back to his own home?
True.
Because we needed them to
Another
have
sex scene.
That did hurt my soul a little bit when they were splashing the water. I know.
Daniela went the hardwood.
They had to put in that scene because it's in the book.
They didn't have to.
Okay, well, for the fans of the book, they had to put in
Was
that
scene. Scene a popular scene from the
book? It was one of those things where...
Because it wasn't very popular to me, watching it unfold.
Well, the bathtub scene was like the carriage scene.
Either.
In Colin's season.
Because they, like, agreed to be together?
No, it's just, like, that is, like, a pivotal moment.
I still feel like it could have been pivotal without the sex scene.
Anywho.
Or at least not with as much of it.
Or they didn't, or at least not with as much of it.
I'm not saying...
Or they didn't have to build up
I didn't watch
it. It was one of those things that, like, infuriates me about, like, action movies or, like, any kind of, like, horror movie where they're, like, it's, like, an intense, like, we're sneaking around and then they're just making a bunch of noise. They don't care how much time they're spending. I'm like, we've lost all elements of the action or the intensity.
That's why we enjoy the Conjuring movies. They don't play.
I don't know. Yeah. Dead silent or it's really freaking scary.
I just feel like even if they wanted to put it in, I don't think we needed as much of what we were seeing or as long of a scene or whatever. Like, it could have still been there and it still could have been pivotal, but I don't think we needed it that much. And I'm not against them. I just feel like they need to be there for a reason. Like, it just kind of frustrates me when it's there for no reason.
In the book, the scene... Yeah, maybe... Okay, it's different, obviously, in the book. So, in the book, that scene happens when... Oh, I'm trying to remember. I think he takes her from... Yes, he takes her from the jail after she's been kind of... Like, everything's been sorted out. And takes her to his home to get her bathed because she's been sitting in a jail cell. And that is what happens. And he, like, promises his mother to return her to the Bridgerton house by, like, 7 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
And
that would have made more sense.
Yeah. So, I think that would be a better explanation than what
like, it was just like he was about to take a bath. And so then they both got the bath. And also, it wasn't even actually sex because they were not in a position that you could have sex in. I was sitting there with Jillian. And I was like, "Are they just doing hand stuff?" Because I'm not seeing the math isn't mathing. The parts aren't clicking.
I can't tell you. I haven't watched it.
She was sitting in front of him.
You want me to cut you off?
But even just the way they were sitting. Like,
he reached forward.
She wasn't, like, on top of him in any way. She was, like, in front of him. You know what I mean?
Go back.
I haven't seen it. I will watch it and report back.
Yeah, report back at the
I'll report back on Friday.
I mean, clearly,
out of all the three of us, I think I would know best.
Okay.
As someone who just knows general anatomy, I feel like it wasn't mathing. Like, they had to have just been doing hand stuff.
Okay.
I'm saying, but like she was saying, like it was like a sex scene in the book, right? And that was not like
from
it was
what
just
I
hand
remember.
stuff.
Yes,
which even made it that much more like, why are we doing this? You know, like why am I watching this?
I don't know. They probably have a contract. They probably have like they have to have 3 sex scenes per season or whatever.
They did show butts again, as is apparently required for every sex scene.
Lots of butts.
Gotta have the butts.
Okay, now that we've thoroughly covered the bath sex scene in Bridgerton, are we good? Are we happy? Do we feel like we have discussed?
I think we're good.
And we
I think we've
all
covered
have
everything.
Yeah, I think she
that
is.
Eloise is going to be next.
I'd say Eloise is next.
Yeah, I believe so too.
Do we think they're gonna reveal Lady Whistledown
Well, how many people do we have left?
early in the season, or is it gonna
4?
be? Yeah,
I don't
4.
think so.
Yeah, I don't
I think
we'll
it's going to
get
be an
a
ongoing
reveal
thing for the
in
season.
Eloise's season even. I don't think we will get a
No,
reveal
but like
in
for like the
Eloise's
odd,
season.
like we'll know.
There's 4 seasons left to go, and
don't
it would
think
be the
so.
same thing again as it was with Eloise if we reveal and I mean, as it was with Penelope if we reveal that early.
No, I think we're going to see it from Penelope's side and like her honestly doing an investigation now of trying to figure out who it is. And we're not going to know who it is.
It's Penelope this time, so it'll be better.
Yeah, hopefully it goes better than freaking Benedict.
Yeah. I
have a lot more faith in Penelope.
I hope they don't like make her like stupid.
She's
though,
not a
in the
Bridgerton by
hunt,
blood.
so that like it prolongs it. Like I hope they like just prolong it naturally. Like the clues kind of she gets some dead ends type of things, not like she just can't figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Eloise, honestly. Eloise did a really good job of trying to do her investigation.
Well, and like Penelope, like the whole thing with the whatever letter it was on the printer.
Yeah.
And like she went and replaced it, and then she's like, "Oh, guess that's not the printer anymore."
I'm sure Penelope would go to the printer first. That would be her first instinct.
Yeah, it should be like, remember
Maybe
me?
Madame Delacour will come back and they can hunt together.
Yeah, we didn't see her this season.
No, I was so bummed, honestly. I love her.
No need to go to the modiste when it's a boy.
We could have had a modiste scene though.
That's why we need Eloise to come back.
Like they were getting her ready for the ball. Like he was like, "You're going to the ball with me, and we're gonna like." After she like found the will and stuff, and they went to the Queen's ball, she could have had a little. She could have a little montage getting ready situation. And went to the modiste.
But that would have been like only one thing.
But they could have done it.
We'll see. Maybe she'll come back next season. I'm hoping she does. Until then, we'll wait to see. It took about a month, I want to say, last time between the release of the last episode of the whatever season and then the announcement of who was leading the next season. So I expect it by the end of this month.
Yeah.
Bye.
Until then, goodbye.
Bye.